Welcome back to Fireside Giants of Empire Sports Media. I'm your host, Alexander Wilson, and my co-host, Anthony Rivardo. It's the day of New York Giants football, Week 1, 2020 regular season. We finally made it. It's felt like a lifetime since COVID-19 started, and everything that's occurred, you've stuck with us through it all. And wow, I must say, I have never been happier for a day in my entire life up to this point. How are you feeling on the afternoon of battle for the Fightin' Joe Judges?
I am so excited, and I am so happy that today my Joe Judge jersey, which I am wearing right now, if you can see it.
That is so classic.
It arrived in the post office today. I think that's a sign of good luck. I think it might lead to the New York Giants starting off the season with a W.
You might be the only person in existence that has a Joe Judge jersey.
I know. I really might be. I'm
if
sold
you're
on
watching
him,
this on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to go check it out. If you're listening to it on iTunes, you got to see this jersey. It's literally a number one Joe Judge. He is the number one fan of the Joe Judge fan club, and I must say, it's a fun club to be in. I've been inducted already. There is a very vigorous process to actually get inducted into this. You have to run multiple laps. But the reality is that he is a disciplinary, and we as a team, including the New York Football Giants, are heading into battle. I feel like I'm going into battle. I already got my sword and my shield, and we're ready to go. We're ready to do this thing, and we want to kind of give you guys some insight into what to expect today from each individual unit, and what we want to see from the Giants. What in terms is a successful game for Big Blue? What do we want to walk away with and feel happy about? What would make us feel like this was a bad step, in the wrong direction, or what would make it feel like we're going in the right direction? To start off, Anthony, I want to go with the offensive line. Now, we have Andrew Thomas at left tackle, Will Hernandez at left guard. We have Nick Gates, surprising, won the center job. He will be starting there. Right guard, Kevin Zeitler. He's our best guy on the line right now. And then we have Cam Fleming, who's kind of a career backup average starter at both left and right tackle, taking on the easier side on the right tackle spot. But nonetheless, TJ Watt right across from him, 14.5 sacks last year. And then Bud Dupree on the other side, 11.5 sacks, facing off against Andrew Thomas. This is not going to be an easy game for them. How do you see this shaking out? Do you think it's a boom or bust situation for the offensive line? And what does Daniel Jones need to do to make this game a good start to the season?
Okay, the number one thing Daniel Jones needs to do is get two hands on the football and not fumble when he's in the pocket. He has to have better awareness. He can't get tunnel vision downfield. He needs to hold on to the football, not throw any interceptions either, because the Steelers' secondary is pretty stacked too. The Steelers' defense is amazing. Honestly, I did the film breakdown, which is on the YouTube channel now. I fell in love with the Steelers' defense. Like, I hate them right now because we're about to play them. So it's, of course, I hate the Steelers until the game is over. Then I'm going to go back to loving that defense because it is such a treat to watch TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, Devin Bush, Cameron Hayward, all of those guys, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Joe Hayden. It is a very talented defense, and it could get suffocating for Daniel Jones entering Season 2 with a brand new offensive line. It could get very, very bad very quick if the Giants don't have a good game plan for them. They need to key in on those players, make sure that they don't wreck the Giants' game plan. And like I said, Daniel Jones needs to have two hands on the football. You mentioned this new offensive line. Nick Gates is getting thrown right into the fire. He's going to be lining up as a starting center, and he's going to have Cameron Hayward lined in the interior of the defensive line. That was a first-team All-Pro last season. He had 9 sacks himself. And then, like you said, Bud Dupree had 11.5 sacks. He's going up against rookie Andrew Thomas. It should be a struggle for these guys. I'm not expecting them to play a perfect game. I'm expecting Daniel Jones to get hit and to get sacked quite a few times. But as long as he doesn't fumble when he gets hit and sacked, and as long as he doesn't throw any interceptions, I think we have a decent chance of winning this game.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think it boils down to two things: quick throws and running the football, managing the clock.
Football.
Yes, and we talked about this on the last episode with Pat Shurmur, and he tried to manage the clock by running the football and, activating Saquon, keeping the ball on the ground. He just was so bad at clock management, trying to call plays at the same time, that it just didn't work. Like, there was just too much on his plate for him to do everything at an adequate level. So I think now Joe Judge, as kind of a walk-around head coach, he's going to be letting the coordinators do their jobs, call the plays. We're going to see a lot of quick throws. The slot position for the Giants today is going to be extremely active. I expect Sterling Shepard and Golden Tate be active from the slot. It's going to be exciting to see them. I don't think Darius Slayton's going to have a big game against Joe Hayden. Maybe I imagine Sterling Shepard will be completely mirrored by him. But if he stays on the outside, then he might match up against Tate or Slayton more frequently. I think it's going to be the slot guys that really pull this one out of the bag. And then you have Saquon, who they need to feed the rock to, burn time off the clock, keep their defense rested and off the field, because all of that inexperience on defense, the only unit I really feel good about is the interior defensive line with Dalvin Tomlinson, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams. Now, what do you think about that unit? Do you think the pass rush can get to Big Ben with David DeCastro out? They're all pro right guard. How do you think the Giants take advantage of that? And do you think they can have some sort of success? Is Lorenzo Carter the real deal?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. David DeCastro is out for this game. He is probably the rock of that offensive line. He will not be playing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where Dexter Lawrence lines up, is over the right guard. So I'm expecting a pretty big game from him. We've definitely seen him do some great things against below average right guards in the past. So I'm excited to see Dexter Lawrence entering season 2, what he can do. And then, of course, like you mentioned, Lorenzo Carter. He's had a pretty great offseason. He's had a great training camp. And those scrimmages, he looked phenomenal. But we said the same thing last year. We said last year he was going to break out, and he didn't. He regressed. So it's put up or shut up time. He's either going to break out this year, or it's probably time to give up on the Lorenzo Carter experiment. So if he can have a great game tonight, Monday night, if he can get after the quarterback, it'll bode really well for this future of this pass rush for the season. So definitely that's a player to keep an eye on. And of course, Dexter Lawrence, I'm expecting a big game from him too.
Absolutely. That's kind of where I'm looking right now. If they can put pressure on Big Ben and rattle him early, get him on the ground, make him uncomfortable in the pocket, the Giants can pull out a win from this game. But really, and you wrote an article about this yesterday, it comes down to the turnover battle. The Steelers are way better than the Giants at creating turnovers. Fitzpatrick alone had 7 last year. So now we're looking at a Giants defense who is unproven in that category. We're really looking to their playmakers, maybe James Bradbury, Jabril Peppers, that defensive line to maybe get the ball out of Big Ben's hands. That's kind of where we're looking. And now you have Daniel Jones, who fumbled 18 times last year, and they have some of the best pass rushers in the NFL. The matchup screams Steelers. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Everything about that team is better than the Giants. Now, it comes down to coaching sometimes and making the right decisions at the right times, making the right plays at the right times. We saw it yesterday, and shout out to the Dallas Cowboys for losing, and the Eagles. Yeah, I posted a video on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, go check out Aaron Donald completely lifting Ezekiel Elliott off the ground. I'm talking like 3-4 feet off the ground and then slamming him into the ground with one arm. I've never seen anyone that strong. Zeke was like 230 pounds. The guy's a heavy running back. He's a bruiser, and he literally lifts him off the ground like Iron Man style and slams him. I've never seen anything like it. I was blown away to see how strong this guy Aaron Donald is. But once again, shout out to the Cowboys for losing. They tried to buy the refs as much as possible. One obvious holding call toward the end of the game that extended their drive. The Jerry money's really coming in handy right now. But nonetheless, we're heading toward the Giants, and the Giants have an opportunity to take that number 1 spot in the NFC East right away, or at least tied with the Washington football team. I still got to get used to that. There's a lot going on here. It's going to be a pretty tough few weeks for the Giants, but if they can start off this season with a win in the column, it'll give them some serious confidence and momentum moving forward. It's a home game. Not that there's any fans in the stadium, so it doesn't really matter. But what do you see any individual players kind of emerging and kind of, I guess, playing above their weight class or blowing our expectations out of the water?
I'll say maybe not players, but as a number 1 member of the Joe Judge fan club, that is who I'm looking for to blow things out of the water. If Joe Judge can coach this team, I think it's going to come down to coaching. The Giants are outmatched. Their personnel doesn't stack up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have, like I said, a suffocating defense. They force turnovers like crazy. They get sacks like crazy. But if Joe Judge and the Giants coaching staff, this new coaching staff, we've been hyping it up all summer. We're super excited about it. If they can put together a great game plan and maybe exploit the weaknesses that might be on the Steelers team, that's what it's going to come down to me. So if we get this win, I'm going to totally give the credit to Joe Judge, which I'd probably do anyway, just because I love Joe Judge, number 1 member of the fan club. But Really, though, we are outmatched. I think we're at the 5.5-point underdogs at home. I know,
Yeah.
like you said,
I think
at
it's
home
6
doesn't
now.
really matter. But, yeah, 6-point underdogs. Like, we are not expected to win this game, and for good reason. Like, the Steelers are a really solid football team. But if for some reason we do win this game, Joe Judge, that's who it's going to come down to. If he can game plan and inspire this team to be the underdogs and get this win, I mean, if he can do that, then what can't he do, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just to wrap up this quick kind of analysis review of the Week 1 preview for the Giants Steelers, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to answer it first. But what would success in this game look like to you? Obviously, we want to see a win, but at the end of the day, this team is rebuilding. We are still in the middle of an entire roster overhaul and an entire change in coaching regimen. So, in my opinion, I feel as though as long as we remain competitive in this game, we go into the fourth quarter with a chance at winning, and we keep it low scoring, don't let it be a shootout, I'm happy with that. You know, I'm happy with just being competitive in this game against a very talented team, one of the better defenses in the NFL. I'm really, really happy with that. As a realist, I'm going to say the Giants lose this one 24-14. As a Giants fan, I'm going to say the Giants win this one 28-24.
Well, the number one thing that I'm looking for, yeah, I want them to stay competitive. I don't want to watch a blowout. I really can't stand to watch a Giants blowout tonight. That will not be good for me and my mental health heading into a day with 2 exams tomorrow and 9 assignments due. It's not going to work. So what I'm looking for, though, is 0 turnovers. Even if they somehow lose after 0 turnovers, the Giants, you know what? That's all right.
It's a big positive.
As long as they don't turn the ball over, I'm happy. Because here's the thing. You mentioned it. It's a rebuild. The main star of a rebuild is the quarterback. If Daniel Jones is the guy that we are building around, we need to see him start to prove himself, really prove himself in year 2. If he could start this game against the team that forced the most turnovers last year and not commit a turnover, I'm going to be happy, really, really happy. Even if we lose, I'll still be really happy with Daniel Jones if he has 0 turnovers and if the whole offense has 0 turnovers. So that's what I'm looking for. And as president of the Joe Judge fan club, I can't predict a loss, even if it's the logical thing to do here. So I'm going to say, let's see, maybe 21-17, same score of Super Bowl 46. Let's go out there with that good luck and a good positive mindset. And hopefully the Giants don't have to run too many laps in their next practice because hopefully they get a win for Joe Judge.
Absolutely. Now, 2 solid predictions. I am going to stick with my Giants fan prediction because that is just in my heart. I feel it. Now, I'm sure all of you guys are probably thinking the same thing. We want the Giants to win. We really need them to win. I could really use the motivational boost after the last few months. But I'm excited. Anthony's excited. I know you guys are excited. Giants football tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1. The 2020 season is here. I'm super excited to share these future games and all of this interactivity with you guys, and the engagement you guys have been providing us has been awesome. The platform has been great. We're only going to build on that and make this even more awesome and exponentially just valuable for you as a consumer and a fan of Fireside Giants. So thank you guys once again, and let's go Big Blue.